Clutch Squad, welcome back to the Perkaholics Anonymous podcast. It's Jeff. I'm with MZC, and we are back with an absolute banger. Reckoning, a lot of announcements today. DLC 4, the conclusion of the Black Ops 6 Zombies storyline. We have so much to talk about. Me and MZC are absolutely hyped for this episode, not only to be live, but to be talking about new Zombies map content for Black Ops 6 Zombies. Guys, before we get into this, couple announcements, couples of disclaimers. First of all, welcome onto the pod. If you're live, if you're here, we appreciate. If you're watching on the replay, we appreciate and love you as well. Real quick, we have a like goal of 100+ likes for this episode. If you're excited for Reckoning, if you're excited for a new wonder weapon, if you're excited for KLAUS enemy types, hit that like button, comment down below what you're most excited for. And for those in the live stream right now, we're going to be doing a live community corner at the conclusion of this podcast episode. Hold all your comments, concerns, questions, and all of that for the end. We're going to designate a time for you to start putting stuff in chat so we don't have to scroll up and look through everything. We'll tell you when to go for the community corner, and we'll rattle off as many comments as me and MZC could get through. With that all being said, MZC, what is going on? Big day and a double live stream day on the channel. What's up?
Let's go, dude. We got the reveal for the Reckoning, finally. It seems like it's been forever since we've had any motion in Black Ops 6. I mean, obviously, Creep was fun, but we all love round-based. We all love new maps, and this one looks like it's going to be an absolute banger. Really quickly, this is live. If you're watching on playback, unfortunately, sorry. But if you are in the chat right now, Schwid, Meep, Marcus, Kerr, Mike, Robar, Astro, Tigress, VY, Mace, Mr. Zone, welcome on into our first ever live pod. This is definitely, we're gonna, hopefully everything works okay. If this goes well, maybe we'll do a few more of these, because this is obviously a lot easier on my end, not having to edit an entire podcast after the fact and then uploading it later on. But yeah, guys, this is definitely a historic day in the podcast. Episode number 10, we wanted to come out swinging double digits. I know a lot of people have been asking us where the podcast has been over the last week, why we haven't been uploading. We didn't want to do any sort of predictions and stuff and then have them start dropping teasers, the blog post, anything, right in the middle of the week, right after we upload, and then it's just outdated. So yeah, but that's kind of where we're at. We're ready to go. They dropped the big pod and the big blog earlier today. If you were watching the stream earlier, that was really cool. We had a lot of people in there, so a lot of hype for DLC 4 here in Black Ops 6, ending the year off right for BO6 Zombies, moving into BO7. Jeff, back over to you.
Yeah, honestly, and I shout out to Tigress here, mod in the chat. He says, pin this. MZC is not taking questions until a certain section of the podcast. I think that'll be helpful as well as a little aside.
Pinned.
Appreciate that. Good job. Thanks, Tigress. We appreciate that. Nice shout out in the chat. Welcome to, guys. Welcome to the live. Appreciate everyone being here. MZC, let's start with the Zombies roadmap for Season 5. Me and you were talking before we went live here. It seems like it's such a calculated dribble of content that Treyarch is providing us with here. Obviously a big drop today with this blog post and with a couple of clips, screenshots, videos, stuff like that. Let's go through this roadmap here, this blog post, the Season 5 Zombies. We're going to talk about everything sequentially, how we feel, how we think it's going to be implemented, and then a little bit of expectations. But what really catches your eye off the top here when it comes to the content they released today for DLC 4?
So right off the bat, guys, they came out swinging with the roadmap, and to be honest, it looks a little bit light, but I think this is a calculated play on their part. I think that they've heard the complaints, so to speak, and all of our concerns over the course of the year, talking about how they've revealed too much in these blog posts and whatnot. I really do think that they've got a little few more extra secrets hidden up their sleeve once we actually get into the map, and as we get into the blog post, we'll see more of the detailed overview here. But on the roadmap, we have obviously the big staple, Reckoning, the new map coming out here next Thursday. They've decided to flex the new wonder weapon, Gorgafex, so we'll have to see what this is in terms of a story perspective. A lot of people are already speculating that's going to tie into Cortifex, the demon from Vanguard Zombies. We have obviously new enemies, Uber KLAUS and Commando KLAUS. We'll go into more detail on all this stuff a little bit later in the podcast. We've got Mr. PEEKS. We've got a new field upgrade. Finally, something very unique, one we haven't seen before, and very different from all of the other field upgrades that we've gotten. And we have a few more gameplay updates. We got new Grief Arenas. That's a given. We all knew that was coming. Directed mode, obviously, coming in season as well. And we have Team Cranked returning. So we might actually be able to see maybe the starting room LTM come back as well later on in the year, towards the end of like the last season in Black Ops 6 Zombies, and stay here for moving forward. And then we have the combat bow as our last little teaser here on the roadmap itself. But guys, yeah, it's very light, honestly. We've got just stuff that usually doesn't get teased on the map. I feel like they didn't. I mean, I could go back and look at the other roadmaps, but I feel like they don't usually tease new enemies, or I guess they did the last time. I don't know. It just seems a little bit light to me in terms of the content they're putting out here, but I think it's a very calculated move from Treyarch's part, because again, with Citadel, Terminus, and Liberty Falls, they put everything in these blog posts and on the roadmaps. It was right in your face. We all knew the boss fight we were going to go up against, Patient 13. We didn't know it was going to be this giant squid, but we did see the tentacle in the water. And then, of course, with Citadel, the first big shot of the map was the golem in the middle of the map. We all knew we were going to be going up against him, as the boss fight is going to come alive in some way, shape, or form. So unfortunately, yeah, they kind of spoiled a lot there. And then the tomb, they started to scale back a little bit. They still gave us a good amount for Shattered Veil, but as you guys will see in this blog post, they really haven't given us much about like looking into the map details, the different areas. We've got like a few traps here and there. We've got a in-depth wonder weapon stuff, but in terms of like map layout, we're going in blind for the most part. It's going to be really, really nice and refreshing to experience this map not knowing where everything is in the map going into it. Jeff, what are your thoughts here on the blog post here with the roadmap?
I think it's interesting, and it's tough too, because the way the Call of Duty cycle works, like we're in August here, so they have to play this in a calculated manner, because I heard you talking about this earlier on your previous broadcast and live stream today. They have to play this in succession with Black Ops 7 because it's back-to-back Zombies years. So they need a hot start here out of the gate, but they need to have enough where it's going to be able to get us to, if they do another season, which it sounds like they're going to do. But it's also like these games come out so soon now. They can come out in October. So yeah, sometimes they still come out in November, but we're already at August this year. So I think that they have to come, pretty strong with this new update next week. The rest of the roadmap looks a little bit more filled out than the zombie side. I will agree with you there, but they're giving us everything that I think we've put on the wish list as far as leading up to this DLC. We're going to talk about Gorgafex next, being a unique wonder weapon. I think for once the community, the pessimism in the community kind of worked in our favor, because I don't think anybody expected it to be a unique pistol wonder weapon. And that's exactly what we're getting as far as I'm concerned, as far as it looks like. We're going to talk about some of your speculation here as well. The field upgrade is going to be in season, which I know for a lot of people is going to be a little bit of a bummer. That's an interesting strategic decision. I think they could have gotten away with putting Mr. Peaks right at launch. We'll see how it plays, but we get new enemy types. You get a new support streak in the combat bow. I don't know how important that's going to be. And they've confirmed new Grief arenas for this new DLC map. So they're staying on the Grief train, even though I think that it's kind of simmered down a little bit, specifically since it launched. I think the steam and momentum for Grief is significantly down from where it started. But unique wonder weapon, conclusion of the Black Ops 6 storyline, KLAUS all over the place, which it's like, hey, if we're going to cater to the community here and we're going to, put together something that is going to get people excited, I think they did a really good job today. I actually cannot wait until next Thursday.
Yeah, man. And before we just completely go away from the roadmap here into the wonder weapon, I just want to go back and look at the rest of the roadmap here. Not that we're going to detail any of this, but Zombies has carried this game. Like, looking at the rest of the roadmap here, we've got a couple of new multiplayer maps. WMD is coming back as a remaster, but it's like it doesn't move me at all. Like, I don't want to play multiplayer in this game. As somebody who literally likes multiplayer too. Like, again, the modes and stuff, whatever. Like sniper only, Blueprint gunfight. Where are tournaments? Where's gunfight tournaments? Why is that not in this game? You look over at Warzone, like there's a new update for Stadium dropping, but outside of that, like nothing. Like the weapons are cool, but the roadmap is so bland yet again for a second season in a row outside of the Zombies content. So I mean, if you're a Zombies fan, man, like we are eating good this year with Zombies, especially in comparison to the other modes in Call of Duty right now. And it just makes me really excited for next year too, because I feel like, again, this is pure speculation. To me, I feel like they've punted on a lot of the uniqueness and the elements that they've added into zombies with the reused field upgrades, perks, all that stuff. And I think they've like really just kind of done that because they knew, one, they were going to have to do this again next year for BO7, but also if they're introducing Primus back into it, you cannot mess up Primus. Like, bringing them back from the dead, you have to nail that, right? And I feel like they know that, and they're kind of punting all of their good shit to next year. And again, pure speculation, we don't know that for a fact, but you know, it just really seems that way to me. So if we ain't good in a year where we got a lot of reused assets and we've got a lot of content compared to multiplayer and Warzone, I feel like next year it's just going to be, hopefully, you know, those other modes do really well too, but zombies is just going to be really good again.
And honestly, I think just to go off of that, this is the most positive community reception from this game since Citadel, in my opinion. So that's been a pretty big gap. I know the Shattered Veil hype was there. I think it died very quickly after that map released. The Tomb, obviously, your most controversial DLC and content update of the whole year. No one's going to dispute that, and probably rightfully so, even though I'm a personal fan of the Tomb. But it's like, I haven't seen people this excited to get their hands on a new map since Citadel. And since basically they were saying, you know, Treyarch was saying there was going to be 2 maps at launch. So it's going to be interesting to see. Funnily enough, talking about that, you know, the rest of the topics we're going to hit tonight really have nothing to do with the map because we don't really know a whole lot about it. We've seen some clips, we've seen some pictures. It looks like it's rumored to be a vertical map. There's no real mentioning of any sort of advanced movement besides your normal staple zombie stuff, with teleporters and, you know, maybe a couple other items that seem intriguing, but it seems like some of the, you know, grappling hook rumors maybe went by the wayside, whatever may have you. But it's going to be interesting to see because it really feels like they're holding their cards close to the vest here and giving us all of the ancillary stuff around the map, whether it be the elite enemies, whether it be the new wonder weapon, whether it be a field upgrade. That is going to be interesting discourse to talk about when we get there. We're going to have a little bit of a back and forth on that, I'm sure. But not a whole lot regarding the map, MZC. How are you reacting to Gorg effects, though, off the top? Different variants, all that stuff. I know you have kind of an interesting theory about how it looks, so I'm curious for you to tell the audience there.
Dude, with the new pistol wonder weapon Gorg effects, I was pleasantly surprised that this wasn't just a Cerberus or a Winter's Howl or, you know, Alistair's Annihilator or Folly. I can't believe it. Like, I was so dead set on getting a returning wonder weapon, and I think the majority of the community was. So to see them tweet out this little shot here of the new wonder weapon this morning and then detail it heavily in the blog post and confirm that there's 2 other variants besides what we've seen here, whew, dude. I don't know. I'm hyped up. I'm geeked up. I think nobody was expecting this, and it was a nice surprise. That's another thing that like is really cool about this map too, in my opinion, is that nothing has really leaked about it outside of like pistol wonder weapon and a few things here or there, but they've really kept things under wrap, and it's the first time in a long time we've had that. So really out of nowhere, just unbelievable confirmation of a new wonder weapon today. I'm going to pause it here in a second. You guys can see what I'm talking about, but it looks very similar, in my opinion, to an Apothecon Servant type of weapon. On this screen right here with the detailed from the blog post, you can see you're basically feeding at least this green version of it a ether spore or one of the seeds from, I think, a Shattered Veil. I think that's a seed, or that's what it is. But basically you take an ether seed and then you put it into the back of the gun. It kind of comes out with some tentacles. You can see in the corner there, it's got some teeth too. So it's almost literally not a carbon copy of the Apothecon Servant, but you're feeding it like the Apothecon Servant, and then it's shooting out different effects. So we do have this one where it's basically like an ether ball of energy that shoots out. It's like a big kind of like grenade or explosive. There are 2 other variants that they talked about in the blog post, but didn't give any detail on. You can see the different variants in the blog post as well, which is cool. I'll skip ahead to it really quickly here. We have a blue one up in the corner that Gray's holding, and I think somebody said there's a red one too. So if we have this like orangish one, which is like the big ether orb energy that explodes, the blue one, in my opinion, might be like an Apothecon Servant type of thing. So like you load it up with whatever the charge shot the Apothecon has. It might not be 1-to-1, it might not be the same, but you load it up, you shoot it, and it opens up kind of a black hole. I think that would be absolutely insane. I think it'd be so cool to see that come back. Not basically just a 1-to-1 copy of the Apothecon, so it's the same weapon, but to have that just be a variant of the new pistol would be amazing. And then the red one, everyone's speculating is fire, but dude, I don't know. Again, massively pleasantly surprised. These aren't just reskins of the Cerberus, or these aren't just some sort of a different type of, you know, I don't know, like reused Wonder Weapon, like buffed Winter's Howl or something that we've seen over and over again, that we've seen a couple of times before. It's really, really nice to see that, you know, we've got some new content here, especially in the Wonder Weapon department, all after pretty much the entire year just being reused Wonder Weapons.
It's definitely interesting because it's like how many unique Wonder Weapon ideas can they really pull at this point in the zombies, in the history of the zombies mode? They do like pistols. It's not the first pistol Wonder Weapon, obviously. A lot of people thought this would be the Cerberus. A lot of people thought it would be the Winter's Howl. To me, this, I think, tells you a lot more about the map than what they could tell us in a blog post, because traditionally, the Wonder Weapons are thematic to the map in some sense. So it's given off this green, earthy growth vibe. Like it's almost getting like charged by nature, by its surroundings. And if you put the screenshots of this, of like the operators holding it, and you put it on like Zetsubo no Shima, I think it would fit in perfectly with that map, which is kind of interesting. Just looking at it, it's not really reminiscent of the KT4 at all, but it's like I kind of see what they're getting at here. Different variants. They do like that. It was, the Cerberus was different ammo mods in Mauer, and then obviously you have the Mark IIs and stuff in this game. But it's like, how many different ways can they go about doing this? They've done a lot of different collaborations of Wonder Weapons throughout the Easter eggs of this game, whether it be the swords and Citadel, I think comes to mind, really off the top. So, what significance does this Wonder Weapon have to the map, I think, is the question everyone is asking. At the end of the day, it has variants. I know a lot of people are against variants. I don't know why I think variants are the way to go if you want to have an inclusive multiplayer experience in zombies, where it's like, oh, only one person can have the staff, or it's still just the staff at the end of the day. So I think that's the model that Treyarch and Activision really like to run with because of the multiplayer aspect of it. So it'll be interesting to see how this gets built, what's the lore, and how it ties into the ending of this storyline. How do you go about upgrading it, if that's a part of the quest as well? But to me, a unique Wonder Weapon, hopefully it's good, MZC. Just like we've been in such an interesting spot. I actually think it will be good off the top. I think it will be good, but we've been in such an interesting spot this game where I think there's valid criticism that the Beam Smasher is your unique Wonder Weapon, and it is very underwhelming. The Jet Gun is good. The Ice Staff is good. The Mark IIs are, what they are. I think they need to come off the top here and make this Wonder Weapon closer to overpowered than underwhelming, especially if the map is going to be vertical layout like it has been rumored. I want this map to be difficult, and I want this Wonder Weapon to be really, really good.
I completely agree. I think they have to come out with each of these variants being good. I don't want to see one variant being way worse than the other. Like it's just not like with the ray guns in Shattered Veil, you got the blue one that everyone uses because it's clearly the best, and then the other ones are okay, but they're just not on the same level there. With the swords, everyone either picks, light or void because they kind of clear over way the other two. But I think all these need to be amazing. I think one other underrated thing nobody's talked about yet that I want to bring up here before we move on is that there needs to be, and of course they're being shown here in the clip that's playing right now, but there needs to be a way where multiple people can get these very easily. Like I think that maybe there should be like a base Gorgafex Wonder Weapon that you can pick up, and then either everyone can pick it up or there's a way for players to get up. It shouldn't be one person gets it and then you got to go spin the box to get the other ones. I don't like that gameplay mechanic. Even with the Mark IIs, like only one person can have the Mark II on Shattered. I think unless, maybe even if you spin the box, I don't know if you can. I don't know if multiple people can even have it. So I really want to see there be a way for all of your friends and all of your teammates in the game to pick this up, and everyone have an OP version that kind of runs around. I don't care. It's the last map of the game. We're going into Black Ops 7 here in a couple of months. Let's just have some fun. Let's have things be OP. Let's have a good time with it. Like, please just make these OP. Please make these fun to use, and don't worry about balancing in August of a year when nobody's gonna be playing this game in 3 months when the next map comes out or when the next game comes out. So yeah, man, overall just just absolute dub of an update, I think, in terms of the blog today and the reveal for these wonder weapons. And again, I'm really glad that nothing got leaked beforehand and it was like, oh, there's gonna be this new wonder weapon. I think the way that you said that they tie into the map, though, or you wanted to see how they tie into the map, again, they're named Gorgafex. You didn't play Vanguard, but the main big bad of Vanguard was Cortifex. And he's got like multiple cults, like Josiah Shem from Shattered Veil. Like they were really just into worshiping this demon Cortifax. So it would be interesting to get a kid that he banished because the kid was going to become more powerful and kill him. That's how dark ether entities and gods function. So it'll be interesting to see if he turned his kid into a weapon. And that's kind of like the narrative there on how his kid's alive. And the Mr. Peaks, obviously, we're getting that field upgrade, which we'll touch on here a little bit. It'd be cool to see, Mr. Peaks be Eddie's son, and then Gorgafex be Cortifex's son, and it kind of all start to tie in, and the narrative really start to pick up here, because I feel like the narrative's been pretty lackluster throughout the year. So it'll be cool to see how they tie that in. But yeah, just another, I think, just insane that they were able to kind of keep this under wraps, at least for up until a week before the map comes out.
In the renderings too, I don't know how they, obviously I have no idea how Treyarch codes their wonder weapons or how, the values get assigned in game and stuff like that. But to me, unless I'm really missing something, please correct me if I'm wrong. This very well could be one of the smallest wonder weapons of all time. And I think that's going to play, like, I would love to see it like 1-to-1 scale in game up against the Cerberus. It might be the same size, but you would think with how the map layout is, the movement that a pistol wonder weapon gives you should play an important part on how the map plays and functions. Maybe they don't look at it that deeply. I actually certainly think they do, but it's going to be interesting to see how this map plays with this type of wonder weapon and what type of movement we get with it. Speaking of some of the enemies that we're going to have to face around the map, MZC, talk to me here, because I think there was a lot of speculation that KLAUS, and I guess he still could be, that KLAUS was going to be the boss fight for this map and the conclusion of this Easter egg. Between Uber KLAUS, which is going to be your big, Panzer Abomination type enemy, correct me if I'm wrong, and the Commando KLAUS, which seems like a special round, vermin, parasites, dogs. I don't think they're going to go 3 for 3 and have all the enemy types and the boss be KLAUS on this map. What do you make of this whole situation where KLAUS is just multiple enemies, special enemies running around the map?
So I think the way they're going to tell this narratively is that this might be like Dr. Gray's map. I don't know. I feel like, Terminus was kind of Maya and Weaver. It was like their narrative. And then you get to Citadel and it was mostly Maya. And then eventually we get over to like the Tomb, I guess was technically Carver. I don't know. Like they didn't really hammer home the narrative here, but I think this is going to be more of Dr. Gray, because she was the scientist for, I don't know if it was Project Janus directly, but basically working under Richtofen. I'm pretty sure she's the creator of KLAUS, so it's going to be interesting for her to be like, oh, I made this robot, now there's a whole robot army of these guys, and this is obviously where they were produced. So
right.
Again, narratively, it'll fit into the map. I think it's really cool. I hope that these are the only 2 special enemies on the map. I don't want to see them bring back like parasites and vermin and all these other things. I think this is more of like the mechanical type of map, like the steampunk, these just, robots running around, the futuristic high-tech type of stuff, and start to break away from some of those things that we've seen all year. I think it'll be cool to see the Commando KLAUSes be the special round, and kind of be like the really fast moving jetpacking enemies coming towards you, mixed in with the regular zombies. Again, don't want to see the vermin, don't want to see parasites, don't want to see the smaller enemies. I want them to replace the manglers, get those out of there, doppelgasts, mimics, get them out of there. Just keep those specific enemies. And then we have the Mecha KLAUS, aka the Uber KLAUS, who's this big, massive Panzer looking guy. He's got big electrical shields on both the sides of him, and then he's got what looks to be the same little like weak arcade spot with the fan down by his chest. And then of course we got the big KLAUS in the middle there. It'll be interesting to see how these play. My best guess as to how to take these guys down would be trying to find a way to destroy the top 2 electrical sides of him, and then maybe like the chest becomes more of a weak spot, or maybe you blow those 2 things off and then his head becomes available to be shot at. So it'll be pretty interesting to see there. But again, just I think this map can just be these two enemies. Don't bring anybody else in. I think we kind of started to see that in Shattered Veil, where it was only the Elder Disciple that could spawn in, but then he could spawn all the different types of enemies. I don't think that'll be a situation here. I think they've heard everybody's feedback. I just, there was like a shot of like a Mangler cannon in the actual Season 5 trailer earlier today on Reckoning. But I think that might have just been a score streak, or maybe even the little Commando KLAUSes have like little wrist rockets, or it kind of even looks like that he had like the big KLAUS, Uber KLAUS has some sort of like wrist rocket too. But their main function, I think, is punching. So I know everyone's like, oh, Panzer reskin, or it's just the same thing that we've seen over and over and over again. Like I don't think so. I think these are going to play completely differently. Aside from just being like a mech robot, like I don't know. It's just, this doesn't even really, aside from it just being a big mech suit kind of thing, it doesn't even give me Panzer vibes. Doesn't even really, I guess it kind of looks like him, but I don't know where people are getting that from.
I'm a little bit curious because think of the special enemy types in this game linear, like from a linear perspective. In my opinion, the special rounds have progressively gotten harder in Black Ops 6 Zombies, which is interesting.
Yeah, you're right.
Vermin's kind of just annoying. Parasites, more annoying than Vermin, but like not that much more difficult as far as survivability or if you're like concerned. Not that special rounds should be concerning or should be, traditionally they've been a free round if you're going for high rounds, if you're whatever it may be. But you kind of dig, further into this game, and then even the toxic zombies in Shattered Veil, like if you're playing Grief on a Shattered Veil map, if you are good enough, you could win the game on the first toxic zombies round. That's really how good they are. So the Commando KLAUS, I'll be very curious to see how they operate, how they move around the map, how their targeting systems are, if they're going to be difficult to eliminate and things of that nature. The elite enemies have kind of been up and down as far as difficulty level, I would say. They're not on that same linear path as the special rounds. I think they're more or less just annoying as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, an abomination on a high round is probably more difficult than annoying at some point, but Disciples really never did it for me in Shattered Veil. This is something basically 100% brand new out of the box. And like people, I think you got to put it into the context of who, like taking KLAUS all the way back to Mauer Toten. Like KLAUS is a huge part of that map. He's an intelligent character, I would say, in that map. Sacrifices himself. He's programmed, I think, decently, and you can upgrade him. So this is a bunch of those, whether it's going to be elite enemies and special rounds. So in theory, hopefully these rounds are difficult, or it's going to make KLAUS look weak, which I know that might be nitpicking at some point, but it's like, hey, this is a character who's been with us for a while. This is a fan favorite staple character of the mode. He's finally getting more shine and he's getting more light than just, hey, here's the pre-order bundle that, we've been sitting on since the release of this game. And you also get Brutus, even though Brutus has nothing to do with this game. So very, very interesting on how they're doing the special zombies in Reckoning. I'll be curious to see what's good and what's powerful and what's not.
Dude, I want these fuckers to be lethal, especially in Grief, man. I hope they're just like the explosive zombies and the toxic zombies from Shattered Veil, like on that same level of like, let's say, those guys will explode and that's where you kind of take the damage from. They don't really creep up on you. It's really just the explosion that hurts. The Commando KLAUSes are going to be like bouncing around the map, kind of like exosuits. I would love for them to be just as hard to hit as the Doppelgasts, where they bounce around. And if you have an AR or an SMG, like you're going to hit them because you're just firing so many shots. But if you're using like a sniper or a one-shot pistol, like the new iron or the new revolver pistols that are coming in season, or something that's a lot harder to like aim and hit, I just want them to be really, really lethal, especially if they're going to try and get close to you and punch you. So it'll be cool. I'm here for it. I hope they're just the most rage-inducing. You're not paying attention and they're flying around you like bees, kind of shit. So it'll be cool to see if they're that good. If not, maybe have a discussion in a week or two. But we'll see.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like you introduce this stuff, and you have to move toward the balancing conversation with a new wonder weapon, with new enemy types. I'm sure it's something. I'm sure they turned around, and there's a very real possibility that Grief was ready and this map needed another season, and they were like, all right, maybe they had to hit a quick switch up. You never know. You never really know how these games come together, how far out they have planned ahead. I'm sure it's relatively far, but it's just interesting to see how, if you want to implement new stuff, it has to be done the right way. It has to be done in a fair manner to everybody. So the game isn't unplayable, but it's also not too easy. MZC, the Mr. Peaks field upgrade, which I want to talk about here briefly. Listen up here though. It's in season. I'm excited for it. Don't get me wrong. It's interesting enough because the Mr. Peaks field upgrade, I think, has generated more discussion and more, maybe controversy is the word to use, than maybe originally planned, originally thought of by the team over Chark, because so far, and I know people think, blog posts is like end all be all, like it's gospel, but no new Gobblegums and no new perks as far as what's being reported on as of July 29th for Reckoning, for DLC 4. I'm going to kick this off really quick before I throw it over to you, because I know you're probably one of the biggest Mr. Peaks fans around. I'll say this from someone who, I'm not a Call of Duty Zombies YouTuber. I do the podcast, but I'm not a casual. I play Call of Duty Zombies. I do all the Easter eggs. I don't need directed mode, all this and the other. Been a fan for a long, long time. I think people need to understand that, like, it's quality over quantity at this point in the game, in this point of the development cycle. Don't get me wrong. Would Widow's Wine have been amazing? Yes. We talked about it. We discussed it at length on this show a couple of weeks ago, if not 2 shows ago. Yes, Widow's Wine, amazing. I think the consensus is that Mule Kick was not needed in this game. I have a dedicated melee spot. I spawn in with whatever gun I want with 8 attachments. I could build a wonder weapon very simply in most cases. I don't need Mule Kick. A field upgrade, which is something that I'm going to spawn with every game, that I have to build up and, I have to earn, obviously, but it's not something I have to buy. It's not something I have to get from the Gobblegum machine. I have 100,000 power kegs ready to go because they're blue Gobblegums. Peak, actually. People, I haven't heard enough about this today. How many power kegs? I'm going to be using Mr. Peaks for the rest of the year as soon as it comes out, because I'm going to be spawning with power kegs. So my philosophy and my thesis here is, I would much rather prefer this, probably going to be 10 out of 10 field upgrade, which we haven't had as far as, follow along with the 10s here. Utility, usability, and coolness. Like, yeah, I understand. Like, I'm a Ring of Fire 10 out of 10 too, but is Ring of Fire really cool? Like, it's not that cool. This has the potential to be one of, if not the best, field upgrades that this mode has ever seen, and I would much rather prefer that over Mule Kick for no reason, and over 3 or 4 Gobblegums, which, let's be real here, guys, chat and everyone, let's be real, for everyone following along, you're only going to have until August, September, some of October maybe, to even earn new Gobblegums. So I don't even think new Gobblegums make sense here, because I don't use any of these new Gobblegums that got put in. Sure, is support group cool? Is modified chaos useful? Like I'm on board with that. But at some point, I don't even use, I'm playing Liberty here to get, I still don't have the Speed Lines camo. Call me late, call me casual, whatever it may be. I'm around 30 on Liberty. I have Jug, Stamina Up, PhD, and Quick Revive. That's it. What do I need 9, 10, 12, 15 perks for? I don't need Death Perception. I don't need Vulture's Aid. I don't even need Speed Coal in a lot of instances. And Double Tap, I'm like, all right, Double Tap is cool. It obviously has, balanced the game out, I think, for higher rounds. But like, if I'm only playing to 30, I don't need 10 perks. So that's my little rant. Mr. Peaks looks badass. Please take it away as far as, how you're going to be using them and, how excited you are for them.
Yeah, dude, you brought up the quality over quantity aspect there, and like for most of the time, I'm like, I totally agree. I actually 100% agree with this. I saw a comment come through that was like, we're not getting quality or quantity here. In comparison to the Gobblegums that we have gotten, like there's maybe been like 1 or 2 all year that I've been like, okay, that actually seems pretty cool. But like the majority of these DLC Gobblegums I have not used, and maybe that's because they're all going to carry forward and they don't want to release these like really OP ones or insane ones until next year because they don't want to break the balance at launch, which again, I wish they would just come out and say something like that, because then it makes a lot of sense rather than just leaving us in the dark until the next game comes out and they're like, oh, so this is why we didn't get any of this stuff last year. But like, the Gobblegums have been trash all year, honestly, the ones that have been added in. Not many good ones here. I mean, like maybe one or two have been usable. In terms of the field upgrades that we've been getting, they've all been just drip fed from MWZ or Cold War. I think the only new one this year, and I might be wrong on this, but I think the only new field upgrade we've gotten all year has been Dark Flare. Well, maybe that was last year. Whatever one that we got, I think we got one new one when the game came out. But overall, like, there's just been nothing added in, and all the field upgrades are like, they're okay, but like, you know, Shroud is useful, and you know,
you're using Shroud or Frenzied Guard. That's it. And just to interrupt you real quickly here, my favorite DLC Gobblegum, you disagree, agree, whatever it may be, is Tactical Diffusion. It's a blue.
Yeah, okay,
and truthfully, what kills me is this, like, what kills me about people asking for more Gobblegums that think Treyarch is doing a bad job, it's actually, you guys are contradicting your own opinions, which it's my opinion. You guys, you know, we're a community here. You could think and feel however you want to. I'm not going to say your feelings are wrong. I'm not going to say our feelings are right. Little disclaimer, obviously. But it's like, if you think Treyarch is doing a bad job, slop, AI, whatever it may be, you should be on the sides of you don't want more Gobblegums, because if you start with that line of thinking that, oh, Treyarch bad company, the bad company, quote unquote, would be putting more gums into the game that aren't good to dilute and to lower your chances of actually getting the good one. Timeout. Like, why would you, no new ultras? Yeah, so what? They could add timeout. Like, and I get it, you're asking for cool gums, but if you ask for gums and they give you bad gums, why would you want them to add purples, lower your chances of getting Soda Fountain, lower your chance of getting on the house for oranges, and put in timeout, and every time you get an ultra roll, you could get a timeout, which I don't even remember when it came out. For a DLC 1, DLC 2, I have not used one. I have not used the timeout since it was added into the game. So no new Gobblegums for me is not a big deal. If you're upset about the perk, if you're upset about no Widow's Wine, I hear you, but I will take a good, cool, probably on the side of OP field upgrade over both a perk and new Gobblegums all 7 days of the week.
Absolutely. If that's what the dev time needs to go towards for this specific one, maybe they're just trying to space it out to give us something in season 6 where they're just like, okay, it's not going to just be the haunting or whatever, and then that'll be it for the rest of the year until next season. They might, you know, they give us like one more ammo mod or the perk over there that's good, or Widow's Wine is like OP, so they just push it to season 6 when the game doesn't really, the balance doesn't matter as much, whatever. But dude, yeah, the Mr. Peaks field upgrade, this again, it's a monkey bomb. It's an OOP monkey bomb, one that's rechargeable, one you don't have to use salvage for, one that doesn't, you know, count towards the vulture raid pickups and stuff. That's really what it is, but it is so cool. I think that we need more field upgrades like this. I hope they go away from the get out of jail free cards that are Ether Shroud, Frenzied Guard, stuff like that, and just give us cool, unique shit like this that actually feels like zombies. Because the other stuff, yes, they're not in multiplayer, yeah, they're not in Warzone, but there's just something about the other field upgrades that just don't, you know, they don't feel like the old ones that we used to have. You know, the KLAUS field upgrades that you could equip, Shotguns of Vengeance, and the Scepter of Ra, even Black Ops 3, you know, the Apothecant Sword, the Ragnaroks, like those all felt just very like mystical, whimsical, fit the zombies vibe. Yeah, the other ones are like practical, but they didn't feel like zombies to me. So I hope that this is a sign for us moving forward in the next year that we're gonna start seeing stuff like, maybe not specifically, but stuff like the Skull of Non-Sapway or the Gauntlet of Siegfried return, where it's more just juiced up, like unique things to zombies that really put you in that fantasy world, rather than it just be like, okay, here's, I just shoot this gun and the same gun does the, you know, different upgrades to the field upgrades and whatnot. So yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm here for it. But yeah, the Mr. Peaks field upgrade, I'll go over to the blog post and we'll just talk about it really quickly here. The different things that it does. It is a juiced up monkey bomb. There are major and minor augments, just like every other field upgrade. We have Dance Party, which becomes, Mr. Peaks becomes the life of the party, attracting nearby zombies to him before he detonates an ether pulse to thin out the crowd. So that's basically like you shoot him. It's probably like the MWZ where you pick him up by the ears, you throw him down, and then he'll start, you know, dancing around, and it'll just start like being like the upgraded monkey bombs from Gorod Krovi, where it'll just like pulse out like this. We have Arcane Fury, which is Mr. Peaks has become a master of the elements, enhancing his regular damage with random ammo mods. I think that one could be really OP if it's like shooting the dead wire, like mastery ammo mod down and blowing everybody up, and then it's shooting, you know, the portals and stuff. That one could be really fun too. Apex Hunter Mr. Peaks focuses all attacks on the strongest nearby enemy other than bosses. So for example, Uber KLAUS would be targeted over regular foes. Imagine you're just taking down zombies while Uber KLAUS is fucking getting beat up by Mr. Peaks in the corner. Like that shit is that's cool. Like that's cool. I'd rather have that than Ether Shroud. I'd rather have that than any of the other field upgrades that we have. I know it's not as like practical maybe as Shroud, or it's not as good as Frenzied Guard, but it's cool. And I'd rather see this kind of stuff rather than just the base, you know, oh, here's my gun and here it is. Or in Cold War, just you pop it and you're there. His minor augments are social butterfly, increase Mr. Peaks' attraction radius, so that could be really cool too. Peaks' favor, Mr. Peaks is good to have around the mystery box locations. Get a free box spin if you're near one during activation. A little bit less useful, but maybe more niche. You know, if you're trying to go for a wonder weapon, you could switch to that, and then you could have him kind of basically spin the box for you, which is cool. Maybe it increases the chances too. I don't know, maybe not, but would be interesting to see there. And then Party Animal increases Mr. Peaks' dance duration. So for me, I think I'd have to either pair Dance Party with Party Animal or Arcane Fury with Social Butterfly and just kind of have fun with it, you know? Like, it's cool, man. Like, I don't know. I'd rather have that than not. I'd rather have this be like a monkey bomb type of thing and separate it from the crafting table and get rid of the crafting table. Like, put those cool, fun things as field upgrades if you want. I mean, in this case, it's not, you know, a monkey bomb. You could get those from the box or whatever. But in this case, you know, get rid of the crafting table, add stuff like this, and super cool. My original thought for the Mr. Peaks, like, monkey bomb, quote unquote, at the beginning of the year was putting it in the crafting table. I'm glad they're doing it as a field upgrade because it'll push people away from Ether Shroud, even if it's not maybe as good or as amazing of a get out of jail free card as Ether Shroud. I just think it's super sick. I think it's cool that he's in the canister. You probably shoot him out and he goes flying and he becomes a monkey bomb. I don't know. I'm here for it. I don't really care. I'm just having fun with it. I saw somebody else say earlier that this is a reused one from the Outbreak Easter egg, which is just not correct at all. He was a field upgrade, and the icon, I guess, is technically reused as the same one, but this doesn't even function like that at all whatsoever. Like the Outbreak one, I think it was just like a pulse that would shoot ether energy out. This one is like a completely different thing. So again, we already have some misinformation and people just being blowhards about everything. So, you know, that's whatever. Mr. Peaks, though, overall, more stuff like this, please. Hopefully this is a good sign for next year that we're going to start getting these over the same old Ether Shroud and the same old, you know, every other one. So yeah, definitely a good thing here. I guess the only thing I will complain about is that it is in season. Hopefully this is within the first like 2 weeks, like 2 weeks after the map comes out. Add this in as one of the events. I don't know which one it's going to be in. Maybe the answer is already in the blog post and I just didn't read it. But yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to use all the wonder weapons, have fun with the map, play the map, learn the map, experience the last DLC map, and then give us peaks right after. It would be a nice little transition there. I just hope this isn't like, okay, late September is when we're going to get Mr. Peaks, because then it's like you let the whole thing die down. So crazy.
My last 2 points here before I read off some of the few map mechanics that they did give to us in this blog post. Sound like a broken record here. You only have a couple more months of this game, and you only probably have, you're talking about like weeks of time when this field upgrade gets released. Just make it really good. Like, just, I know we're going to be like banging the table for that and sound like this whole episode we're like basically just begging Chark to be making everything like really good and close to overpowered, but it's like Peaks favor with the mystery box, like have that work with Wonder Bar. Like if you have it, you get a free Wonder Bar spin. I don't know. They probably won't do that, but something crazy. I'm just saying at this point, just let, you know, if you're letting loose with something unique, something we haven't really seen before, you might as well take it all the way. And I will say, number 2, the in-season, I'll be curious on their timing. I'll be curious to see how that's received. It will get people back onto the game if, you know, it's been 3 or 4 weeks since Reckoning dropped. It will get people back. It will get player counts up because it is, you know, Mr. P. It's sick. It's sick. That's like me and you agree on that. It's sick. So we'll see. Interesting business decision choices there all around. Very, very, very interesting. Now, some of the map overview. Like we talked about, like we discussed, not a whole lot. Let me run down real quickly here. I want to hear your thoughts. We have, looks like an area of unstable gravity. Could be interesting. Floating in the air. A little bit of moon vibes. Hey, you never know. DLC 4 is upon us. Rapid transportation teleporters. I'm going to chalk this up. It kind of looks like the fire-based teleporters. They've run this model before. This is a Cold War model. Oh, reused, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's in Shattered Veil, whatever it may be. Rapid transportation, they say anti-gravity personnel launchers, a novel and likely completely safe means of transport. Used in pairs, the launchers create a focused tunnel of gravity, allowing the user the illusion of flight and the ability to jump from one location such as a tower, balcony, or overlook to another. My opinion, sounds cooler than just a generic zipline, like a generic Mauer zipline. Sounds cool to me. And then the last thing I'm looking at here is the caster turret, which stands for the Cognitive and Adaptive System for Target Elimination and Reinforcement Turret. With armament and control panel components, it's a joint venture between the Project Janus, Cognitive Science and Security Technology divisions. This wall-mounted automated cannon unleashes devastatingly powerful barrages of etheric energy in quick bursts to neutralize threats. That to me screams like, hey, use this for the Easter egg. But how do you feel about all this, MZC?
I think it's cool. I know one thing that everyone's been talking about today has been the parachuting from the intro cutscene, not even the intro cutscene, but the season 5 little snippet that they gave us. I don't really, this is on the mechanic that they didn't really touch on too much in the blog post. I just feel like this is going to be something so minor in all of this. Like, there's all those different things that you just rattled off that are super cool and map specific, and then there's like
no one talking about them.
No one's talking about them. Everyone's too busy complaining about the parachuting and how it's Warzone and all that stuff. So I mean, dude, like my idea for the parachutes are either you spawn at the top by the mansion and you jump down onto the map and you can float to wherever you want to go, or it tells you where to land, or it's like you get all the way to the top of the map where the anti-gravity thing is with the particle accelerator, and then you fly into it, and then it puts you in a portal in the sky, sort of like MWZ, where you then fly down with the parachute, pretty much using that same mechanic from MWZ. So we'll have to see what happens there. But dude, they all sound amazing. The new trap sounds really cool. There's a lot of things in there that'll probably be Easter egg specific that we'll have to go and, they're giving us these little tiny hints right there of like, hey, there's some new features on the map. Like they talked about the purple ether traps in the tomb kind of at nauseum, and they really highlighted it multiple times, and it ended up being an Easter egg step. So I'm sure you're 100% right here, where some of these things are gonna carry on over to an Easter egg step. But yeah, I mean, the map, again, they're giving us little tiny things, but they're not explicitly like, here's 10 seconds of all of these different things that we're talking about. It's really just, hey, this is what to expect, probably more in there, go have fun with it, which is, I think, the perfect way to go for a map where we don't already know a lot of stuff about it. So definitely gonna be exciting to see how all this plays in the map itself, because I can't even imagine half of this stuff because they just haven't showed anything.
And honestly, before we hit expectations here and then the community corner, Treyarch, anybody out there in the ether, please keep going with the quest operator skins. I mean, it's the gray skin, blood, sweat, and gears. It looks good. Like, it looks good. I don't know who's against this. Nobody is against, like, hey, if I do the Easter egg pre-directed, I get an operator skin. Like, it worked great with the Pentagon Thief Carver, like, last season. Keep it going. This, I think, is a home run that should be every single map for the next DLC season of Black Ops 7. Just keep that going. MZC. Hey, guys, if you're still here, appreciate you guys, everyone in the chat. We're not ignoring you. We're just, we're reading your comments. I'm reading them off to the side, thinking about you guys. Got my brain jog and everything like that. We're going to get into the community corner here. We're going to do a quick expectation thought process. Once you guys hear us wrapping up with that, if you want to start putting questions into the chat for the community corner, MZC and I will try to get to as many as we possibly can here. Let's do expectations here first. I know we've talked about it a lot. I don't want to, keep repeating ourselves. MZC, expectations for Reckoning DLC 4 Season 5 Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies.
All right, I gotta go with massive story implications that tie in MWZ, Black Ops 6, leading to Black Ops 7. I'm hoping everything splits and it isn't like, oh, this map is linear and then it pushes into MWZ. My expectation for the story, at least, is like Ava going back in time. She's going to pop up at some point, whether it's the outro cutscene or at some point in the map. Like, all the stuff has to tie in now, because I don't want to keep wondering next year, like, hey, when is Ava going to show up, or when are the Shadow Smiths going to pop up? This needs to like come to a culmination here from a storyline perspective. I would love to see 2 different boss fights, sort of like Terminus, where you have like a warm up, a little teaser, like Nathan. I could be, whether it's like an Uber KLAUS, which I hope it's not, but like something with Panos maybe to start it off, and then the big bad is either it's Cortifax, or it's the Forsaken, or it's, I don't know, it's like the Sam AI for the boss fight for the end of the map, like something like that to kind of end off on that makes sense and kind of leads into next year. From a map perspective and a gameplay perspective, based on the wonder weapons, the verticality of the map, this has the chance to be the most unique map moving forward, at least from this game, that I have, in my opinion. Like Citadel was, outside of the realm of like these facilities. I know this is technically another facility, but just the way that, the towers could be infested with Dark Ether stuff, I just expect this to be the coolest map on the disc, on the game. I think that with the wonder weapons coming out here and the different type of variants of KLAUS that we're getting, I think this just has the potential to be the best map in the game. It's exactly what we've been asking for in terms of a gameplay perspective. You take the gobblegums and the perk away from it. This is literally everything that we've been asking for. New elite, new special, new wonder weapons, new field upgrade. This is the storyline has to get wrapped up here. The strike is over. I'm assuming all these people are back. Maybe Julie it isn't back in there for Sam, but it needs to wrap up here. My expectation is that this wraps up Black Ops 6, and if the leaks are true, needs to end with Primus coming out of a portal and being back, and it just being a massive mind-blowing twist into next year. That's where I'm gonna leave it for my expectations. This has to be okay. One more thing for the expectations. This has got to set the expectation for next year too. If this map is like an 8.5, 9 out of 10, the wonder weapons are great, they're unique, the bosses, like every map next year needs to kind of get what we're getting with this one, where we've got unique boss enemies, we've got unique wonder weapons, we've got massive storyline implications that keep us on our toes. We don't know exactly where things are going. This needs to set the tone for next year, and this needs to continue into next year, where every map is getting this level of support in terms of uniqueness and different things coming to the game.
I'm pretty much right with you. I'm expecting good wonder weapon play. I'm expecting unique and intriguing map layout. I'm hoping, and I think Z-Rex is going to be tough to top. I know a lot of people like Patient 13 as well, but I'm hoping for boss fights on those levels, if not better. Conclusion to this story has to be really, really good. If they can't conclude this story badly and then expect Black Ops 7 to be well received, it's just not going to work. That is the prerequisite for, that should be the number one laundry list, priority list. That has to be number one, is this storyline getting wrapped up very well and appropriately. Or Black Ops 7, the hype's going to be there, but it'll be closer to dead on arrival than hype on arrival if the end of this story is not good. They've been messing around with, this storyline for a while here. Hasn't moved me that much this game. I know other people disagree. I know people have an affinity and like a lot of these characters, whether it be Maya, whether it be Carver. They've grown on me a little bit, but we've had a long runway with these guys, so let's get it wrapped up here. And let's go into the future of Call of Duty and Treyarch Zombies. So, MZC, we got a lot on the, Treyarch has a lot on their plate. We have high expectations for them. I think everyone, has kind of seen us maybe gassing this up a little bit and, talking in a positive nature. I think we've had some pretty balanced takes so far. Been going for almost an hour here. We're going to get into the community corner, but it's like, guys, we're not going to come on here and just tell you this map is amazing if it's not. There's still a percent chance this map is not good. Welcome to the reality of any pre-DLC Zombies content drop ever. It could be bad. I think everyone accepts that and knows that that's a possibility. But pretty hopeful from what I've seen today. They don't want to go and release a whole bunch of stuff. Don't go and do it. The community has kind of set itself up for a little bit of negativity at launch of some of these maps. Some of it completely justified. Some of it not so much. But MZC, let's get into the community corner here. I wanted to start actually really quickly, because I'm intrigued by this question. Karibo said a little bit up here in the chat. What do you expect the super?
Wait. Sorry. I don't mean to completely cut you off. We
Go
got a
ahead.
new graphic for the community corner. This is something that's a lot easier to implement when we got it on Premiere Pro, because I can just cut it in without having to mention it. But yeah, this is our new intro to the community corner. We've got the PK Gobblegum sponsor of the entire channel, Penguin King Madrid. We appreciate your contributions to the overlords of the Gobblegums variety. We've got our top 10 donators over there on the left. We got Lane, PK, Nuke Man, Galaxy Bacon, Dead King, Dig Dug, Schwidley, Irish Tiger, and Ben. And then we have our member ghosts. These are our top 10 longest standing members across the entire channel. We've got Jeff at number 1. Actually, I looked at it the other day. I thought it was Schwid for the longest time. I think he beat you by like 20 minutes, Schwid. Schwid just re-upped as well. Thank you again for your 26th member over there at Keeper. Absolute legend. So it's Jeff and Schwid at the top. Then we got Colin, Kemi, Rick, Lordy, Packed P, Tigress, Bacon, and Andrew over there for the member goats. So crazy, dude. Actually crazy. It's like I don't know. The rapid to the graphic here, it looks absolutely amazing. This is something we're gonna implement to every single episode. If people are overtaken on one side or the other, we'll obviously update that. PK, I don't think you're going anywhere. I think you're going to be the main sponsor of the podcast moving forward. But yeah, absolutely dope graphic that Rapid drew up for us, and definitely gonna be a staple here on the podcast going into the community corner. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off on that question.
No, you're good. I got so excited. We're in such a good flow state. I forgot about the banger graphic Rapid made. So my apologies to Rapid. Absolute banger here. I mean, look at all those names up there. Absolute studs. Absolute gentlemen in the communities.
Uh-oh.
Karibos, what do you think about the super Easter egg? You think it's too early to be talking about it? Should we just be talking about the map? I'm a little bit curious. What do you think?
Okay, dude, the super Easter egg for Cold War, I think, actually got added in during Vanguard. So they obviously can't do that this time around, because why would you add the super Easter egg when there's a mainline zombies game going on? I have two theories. One, it's going to be part of the season 6 content, or two, they just aren't even mentioning it at all. So it's going to be a big surprise when it's added in on day 1. Somebody completes the Easter egg for the first time, and then all of a sudden you get the pop-up that's like super Easter egg, you get this calling card too, and you get like some sort of bonus in game. I don't really know. I'm thinking it's probably going to be more of a season 6 type of thing, but again, dude, just something about this blog post and the way that they've really put things on the roadmap make it seem to me like they're hiding stuff. Like, I could be cope. Maybe there's a little bit less to this season than we thought, and the map really is just some unique gameplay varieties, a really cool Easter egg they haven't teased, and then the wonder weapon and what the KLAUS is. But I don't know, dude. Something smells odd to me, and I think that like because they've heard people complaining for the last 8 months about giving us too much in the blog post, I think that they're like, all right, fine, you don't want us to tell you anything, we're not even gonna, how about this, how about we just go figure it out and find for yourself. So it'll be interesting. I hope that they don't save it for season 6 though, because if it's something cool like, you know, an ether tool upgrade or whatever it might be, you know, something like that, I would rather get that now, you know, and have 3-4 months to play with it before we lose it next year, unless it's carry forward. If it's carry forward, then I don't know. Then it'd be cool to see. Like, if it's, could you imagine though? Again, this is just, again, we don't know for sure, but imagine if you beat the Easter egg, you're watching, I don't know, whoever, you know, the Pizza Noah, and they beat the Easter egg first in the world, and then all of a sudden on the right side of the screen, it pops up with like a custom, you know, plus 1,000,000 XP, plus, you know, new calling card, and it says like cookbook unlocked, and you go back to the menu, and the fucking Newton's cookbook is now a section of the menu. Like that. That'd be sick. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen there. Maybe you get like Richtofen's operator pops up too on the side. It's like, you know, director unlocked or director operator. It would be cool, but we'll see, man. We'll see what happens.
Well, Fishy G23, he brings up probably the best point I've seen about not getting a new perk that I've seen all day. And he said it's very strange we aren't getting a new perk when there's still an empty slot on the Wonder Fizz. Could it be the super Easter egg? So that I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the new open slot in the Wonder Fizz. Because that logically makes sense that there's an open slot there, but we're not getting one with this map, and it's not advertised for in-season. So they're either not advertising it, or it has something greater to do with the rest of the game.
Dude, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty sick to see like Widow's Wine.
But what are they going to give you? It's Widow's Wine for a super egg, though? That has to be one of many things. That's not good enough.
No,
on its
it
own
would have to be like the stuff on the side of the screen would have to be like Widow's Wine unlocked, fucking director operator Richtofen. I mean, I don't know if they would do the cookbook. I think that might be a next year thing, honestly, at this point. I know it's gonna eventually. I'm telling you guys, it's gonna get added in. You guys can call me crazy, you can call me coping, whatever. Eventually, that cookbook's coming, whether it's this year, next year, the end of next year. At some point, we're gonna see that shit come back because there's just too many gobblegums gonna be in rotation next year for them to have that going on. But it's gonna have to be a little bit more than a perk. But it would be cool to see that. I don't think I think that would be on like the last thing people would think of for a super Easter egg reward.
I'm going to hit you with this one really quick. This one from Chad of Duty. Shout out Chad. He says, Community Corner, is MZC free for dinner on Friday at 5:30?
Yeah, absolutely. Thursday, going out with Josie. But Friday, Chad, I'm open. You just let me know wherever we're going.
All right. A little wheeling and dealing in the Community Corner. What else was I looking at here? Zenixy. Hope I'm pronouncing that correct. He says before, I know this is controversial.
My man.
This is interesting because I've heard this multiple times today. Before Black Ops 6 launch, Kevin Drew said shopping free would be added post-release. Do you think they'll still randomly drop it, maybe alongside new weapons? They push it back to Black Ops 7. You got to think it's pushed back at this point, right? Or maybe we don't need it.
Maybe Season 6. I almost don't want it. I don't want, and it's going to sound fucked up too, but like, I don't want any OP gobblegums from here on out. The chance to get good gobblegums, we're back with Citadel, back with Tomb. Like at this point, if it's going to carry over to next year and that stuff is coming for next year, I'd rather it just be like Season 2, Season 3, Season 4 of next year that we start seeing shopping free, power vac, whatever OP gobblegums they haven't re-released. Like I would love to see that come back next year because I don't want to go into Transit with, all right, my my gobblegum pack for Transit is going to be shopping free, Perkaholic, hidden power. Like you're just going to be a demigod at launch. I mean, it's already probably going to be relatively easy if the perks and the augments and all that stuff carries over. But if you're adding in all those gobblegums too, like, now you're starting to get into the, all right, things might be pretty OP here. Because, at the start of this year, people forget, I don't think the gobblegum store was in day one. I don't think you could directly buy Perkaholic or hidden power from the store.
No, I don't think you could.
I think it was like a week or two after that got added in. So, like, I don't want the power creep to be, it's already going to be probably pretty easy, but I don't want the power creep to be too OP off the rip. So I mean, it would be cool. I know everyone wants shopping free. Guys, it would be so sick, don't get me wrong, to run to the Pack-a-Punch and just triple pack your gun right away after using a hidden power. Like if that's what you want to use your shopping free for, would be amazing. But I just don't want to see anything too crazy OP right now. Like it's, I know it's the end of the year for this game, but if stuff's carrying forward, it might seem cool in the moment, but then next year you're going to be like, well, shit.
Yep. Interestingly enough, Maze Zombies, with probably one of the most unique and cool super Easter egg suggestions I've seen in a while and have not thought of. Director's perk gives you all for only 2,500 points.
Ooh.
Well,
that would be cool. That'd be cool.
I'm in for that instead of the scaling. I mean,
the question is like, would it be a perk machine on all the maps, like how they added Mule Kick from Moon? Oh, it gives you up for 25. Or would it be the Wonder Fizz? Would it be like 25 hits? You can go into the thing and it's like a mystery perk, and then you just buy it for 25 and it gives you everything. I mean, I like the idea. I like where your head's at though, Mace. That's good.
Interesting.
If we were getting the cookbook this DLC, it would have been leaked. Disagree. Nothing's been leaked for this. Nothing's been. Listen, I mean, I'm more likely to think that it's coming next year. But to be honest, like nothing about this map has leaked outside of like Pistol Wonder Weapon.
Janus Tower.
Yeah, we've had wrong leaks.
So don't get me wrong here. Kevin Drew from his mouth actually said shopping free.
He said shopping free was going to be like post-launch DLC or something like that.
Or was like that coming post.
No. He said that on the COD pod.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
In like December, he was like, shopping free is going to be coming in the DLC season. Didn't say, I don't think he even said when, but I think people were just asking about shopping free, or maybe he was asked. Because I know they do some sort of like viewer mail or whatever. And I think somebody was like, oh, can we see shopping free or whatever? And he was like, yeah, it's coming post-launch. But he could have just been saying that. And somebody on Twitter could have been like, oh, it's confirmed season 1 potentially shopping free. And in reality, it's like, yeah, it's the last gobblegum getting added into the cave.
Could have got scrapped too.
I at this point push it back to next. I do not want to boot up with shopping free day one of Black Ops 7 and just run through them. Obviously, like if it's a minute, maybe it would be hard to get through the entire map if it's transit. So I guess it would actually kind of benefit you. But if it's like a 3-door purchase or like a 3 purchase limit, now I guess that would be okay. If it's 3 purchase limit, then maybe you could add it, keep it in the game. But if it's like a 60-second thing, I don't want to be able to run through. Maybe I do. I don't know. It all depends on next year. All depends on if it's carrying forward and if the map's going to be small enough to run through like that. But we'll see. We'll see.
I wanted to get your answer on this from Israel Cruz. Do you think we will see the soul of Samuel and Richtofen's wife in this map? ?
I think they're going to use I think at the end of the Easter egg, whether it's through the cutscene or like maybe a mid-map boss fight, or maybe it'll be the last thing we see and then it's the end cutscene. I think they're going to use the Sentinel artifact and Richtofen's going to try to revive his family. Like they defeat Sam, they defeat the big bad, the map is over. Richtofen has possession of the Sentinel artifact and he does whatever he does to try to bring his family back. And then a portal opens up and Primus Richtofen comes out and shoots him in the face, just like the giant. And it's this big reveal where they're like, oh, and then the rest of the Primus crew comes out and he's like, you should have just let me stay dead or some shit. You have no idea what you just did or something like that. I don't know. It would be pretty cool.
Was seeing one up here. Noah Reams, he says, I'm going to say it. I feel like Mr. Peak's field upgraders charged way of bringing him into Primus. Maybe? I think so. What do you think about that?
I don't know what you're saying. You feel like Mr. Peaks' field upgrade is Treyarch's way of bringing him into the next game, or like introducing Mr. Peaks to Primus, or keeping him around?
Like you got to think all of these characters, unless it's just like who knows what they could do. But you got to think all these characters we've been playing with since Cold War. You got to think that to me. Maybe like operators and stuff. Maybe like this is probably the last time we're seeing KLAUS. Maybe that's jumping to conclusions, but this might be the last time you see KLAUS. So
I hope not. I want a buildable KLAUS, dude. Ted driving the bus, and I want a buildable fucking KLAUS running around train. I can't let my guy go, dude. No.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But at least we get Mr. Peaks with us. If he's gonna be a field upgrade in Black Ops 7, he's gonna have to do something with the story. Well, I guess not. I just thought that was interesting. No, that was interesting. What else did I see here? I wanted to talk about chat, guys. Oh, TAC M having all the LTMs back permanently as super Easter reward would be nice. Agree.
A little bonus. I don't know if I'd want that to be like the super Easter egg reward, but it would be cool if you did all of them. You could go ahead and grab some of that stuff back. That would be nice. Not the end of the world. It'd be all right. A little bonus. I'd be cool with that. Who's better, Kevin Drew or Jimmy Z? Do you know who Jimmy Zielinski is?
Yeah, lightly.
He's like director from World at War through Black Ops 2 before Blundell took over. So all those like the original classic maps were all under Jimmy Z's watch. I think. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you go first.
You go ahead.
All right. So I was on LinkedIn the other day and I was doing my research on Kevin. I was stalking Kevin's LinkedIn profile after some certain things. I was looking at Kevin's LinkedIn profile, and he actually hasn't been the lead director until like May of this year, I think. So all of Black Ops 6 technically wasn't Kevin, I don't think. Like he was one of the heads, but he wasn't like the guy, right? So this is technically, I think, the first map where Kevin is like lead zombies guy, right? Before it was like some dude named Corky, and then before him obviously Blundell, but like I think this is like the first time he's actually been able to kind of direct things, and I think Black Ops 7 is where we'll see more of his vision. My thing is like I don't like how they picked him to do all the interviews last year and basically wasn't the Blundell of the modern era, but they were like, hey, you go out there and you handle all the questions in the community's like anger. And they kind of were just like, you're going to go up on the cross for us here. Well, it wasn't really his fault for some of these things, but I don't know. I guess this map moving forward, modern era versus World at War through BO2. Minus Mob and Origins, I guess.
I'm like a big, I don't even know what word to say, but like I have to go Jimmy Z because he was overseeing it when the mode could have very likely fizzled and died and stopped existing. So I have to give him the nod because he maneuvered the side mode through the most tumultuous periods of it, in my opinion, where it was just a side mode. Now, after him, was it propelled into being a rival to the other modes and probably being bigger than thought? Like, I don't know if it's bigger than Warzone. I mean, depends who you ask. Depends what stats you look at, I guess. But it's like bigger than multiplayer some years. Yeah, I mean, it got catapulted not because of Jimmy Z, but I think it got incubated and it got bred and it was kept alive because of him. So I have to give him the nod slightly. I know that's not really answering the question, but it's like, I think that's the best way to look at it as far as, hey, this was literally something that some group of devs were messing around with, and it was just a extra mode after a campaign, and now it is what it is today.
Yeah, and it's always so tough to compare these things because, like, World at War through Black Ops 2 was the beginning ages of zombies, and like then you have the golden age with Black Ops 3, and I guess I wouldn't even realize. I just say Black Ops, end of Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3.
Whoever did Vanguard Zombies, just fire that person.
Right? The 5 guys that were working on Vanguard Zombies, they're probably not even dead anyways. Yeah, I think after next year would be the time to start being like, okay, like really start comparing the eras, because if Kevin leads us out of the drought of like, I'm including Black Ops 4 in this. I know it's gotten a renaissance. I know the game's good today, but back in the day it wasn't seen that way. From 2018 to 2024, I would consider that being like the downfall and like the drought, the rock bottom of zombies. If Kevin leads us out and like this map is really, really, really good and it sets the precedent like Origins set for Black Ops 3, if this map sets the precedent for next year's game and it's fucking gas, and we're getting all these new enemies, new wonder weapons, new field upgrades, it's not just drip-fed content again, then we'd really have to start having some discussions. My only thing is, like, everyone gives Zelensky credit for turning around Black Ops 2, because Zelensky did... Everyone thinks he did the Victus maps. He did Transit and Die Rise, but I think David Vonderhaar led Buried. So I don't even think that was Zelensky. So like you have Zelensky do World at War, Black Ops 1, and then have those like, Transit and Die Rise where the community was whatever. He might have like maybe helped lead Buried. I could be wrong there, but yes, I mean, I don't know. I think he's got this map and then next year to prove himself, does Kevin. And then if next year's gas and it's all like this map, then I would say I don't know. Let me get through next year before I starting to compare these devs. Like obviously BO3, end of BO2, BO3 is the golden era, but we'll see.
If Kevin gets us back to that where it gets talked about like his Black Ops 3 zombies again, he wins. There's no debate there, in my opinion.
But against Zelensky for sure.
That's what I'm saying. But it's like Black Ops 3's how many 10 years ago?
Yeah, dude, fucking 10 years. It'll be 10 years when BO7 drops.
So it's like you were given this long runway. I agree with you. Black Ops 7 has to be amazing. It really just does. There's really no other way to look at it. And I think a lot of people don't. Maybe a lot of people aren't here. Maybe I'm in the minority, you're in the minority. Black Ops 6 has been closer to amazing than shit.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Especially when you compare it to the last few years of stuff. I mean, I was, the bar is so low. It's, we had Vanguard, we had NWG, we had Cold War, but like
Cold War, funnily enough though, like I hate to be the bearer of bad news to maybe some people in the community, like Cold War is a good zombies game. I know that's a hot take. And it had, Vanguard followed it up. So I think that makes Cold War look better to some people. Even here's the thing. There was an amount of problems with Cold War that I can't even begin to start with. We could all agree with that. But as far as it's back to the original argument, like you don't have Black Ops 7 without Cold War. So I have to give Cold War some flowers because you don't get to Black Ops 7 and you don't get to people enjoying this system of zombies without Cold War. So somebody has to bite the first bullet. In this iteration of the timeline, it just happened to be Cold War. Say what you will.
Yeah, I agree, especially going back and playing it today. Like if you just boot up Cold War, you're gonna be like, holy shit, some of these systems are dated, but it really is like the groundwork and the foundation for what we have right now. And again, if I'm gonna keep using now, seeing what we're getting, at least like content wise with the Wonder Weapon, I keep hammering this, but the content that they showed us today, if this continues, then you're going to look back in 2-3 years, maybe in the gap year between BO7 and whatever the 2028 game is for zombies, and you're going to be like, okay, like Cold War was the foundation. We got these very basic field upgrades. We got the idea, like the concepts were there, and then towards the end of BO6, just like BO2 propelled into BO3, like Origins and Mob of the Dead really propelled the game into the golden era of BO3, right? I think that we could be maybe, and again, I don't want to say this until we start playing it, we actually get our hands on it, but I think we could be starting to trend towards that now, where if every map next year is new field upgrade that's not just some random, actually feels like a zombies field upgrade, and you know, we're getting 2 new bosses every single map and new wonder weapons every single map that are unique, maybe one here or there remaster, who knows, and then, you know, maybe we have remaster maps at the end of that game, or in 2028 for the 20th year of zombies, the 20th anniversary of zombies, we have a Chronicles. Then I think we're really going to start to look back at Cold War more fondly than we do now, or than people did in between the gap between Cold War and BO7, thinking like, okay, this is what really set the foundation for the modern era. And I've been saying this for, you and I've been saying this for a while now. I don't think that I don't think the mode has even evolved into what it can in the modern era just yet. Like I'm still looking at the big picture here. Like I think that, again, we're gonna find out here pretty soon, but I think that they may have been told like a year or two ago, like you have to do 2026 COD, 2025, 2026 Black Ops 7, and Treyarch was like, fuck it, there's no way we're going to be able to get out all the content that we want to get out in these 2 years. Let's just punt and make Black Ops 6 like the, all right, you know, we had Liberty Falls was supposed to be one big experience between Liberty Falls, the mansion, or, you know, Shattered Vale and Janus Towers Reckoning. That was all supposed to be one thing. And then maybe like Citadel and Tomb were supposed to be one experience. Maybe they just punted and were like, listen, we're planning on bringing Premise back. We can't go 50-50 here and split the dev time. Otherwise, both are gonna, it's either one is gonna be really, really good and the other one's gonna be or they're both gonna suffer. And they probably were like, we can't fuck up Premise. We can't bring him back for it to be mid and have people be like, you brought him back and he desecrated the grave. Like, let's just punt and give like drip feed. We'll use stuff that we've already developed for Black Ops 6, and then BO7 will hammer it out of the park, which again, could be cope. We're going to find out here pretty soon, but that's just my own personal opinion on what I think could be possibly happening right now, especially with the way that this game appears to be ending with some of the cool stuff we're getting here on the last map.
I know we're probably looking to wrap up here, MZC. I do want to address Thunder Rays because he says, we guys make additional content. I know you spoke about it in the previous pod. We didn't appreciate your comment. We didn't get a lot of people who were potentially interested in a Patreon. Me and MZC were kicking around. If we do extra content, probably just keeping it for members only. But if that changes in the future, we'll let you guys know. I know that Perkaholics Anonymous has been received very well. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We really want to do more lives in the future. We have something planned for next week. Not saying anything yet, but we have something planned for next week. As far as the release goes for DLC 4. So we'll kick around the can with some of those ideas. Be curious to hear if anyone has any suggestions, how we can make this podcast any better, how we can improve the community corner, how we could just do, you know, this content creation thing any better than what we're doing it now. We're doing this to improve, and we're doing this to talk zombies with you guys. So MZC, anything else here? You want to hit anything else or send us home, whatever it may be?
Nah, it's been a great ride so far here on Perkaholics Anonymous podcast.
Episode 10.
Episode 10, double digits already, man. I knew when we started it, like we weren't going to just start it and then fizzle out, because that's not, you know, we've talked about doing stuff together for a while, so I knew that was never going to happen. But yeah, just the support that everyone's given us over the past 2 months that we've been doing this, and really filling the gap between Shattered Vale and now, and, you know, starting to pick up where the podcast is probably going to get really interesting here with this last map, and then we'll have, you know, marketing for the next game, and then of course all of next year will be really cool too. it's just interesting to see how we've evolved so far. Obviously, we want you guys to tell us what we could do better and constantly try to make things better for not only the overall quality of the podcast, but you guys, the viewers. Definitely awesome to do a live streamed podcast. I know we've talked about that for a while now. So being able to just say, hey, we're going to just hop on and have some fun here. Really cool to see this and how the live definitely evolves. I think things have been really good. There's been no issues, no lagging, no internet problems, no webcam issues. Everything's been pretty sick. So it went smoothly. I like that. You guys saw throughout this, I've got a little thing. I put this together quickly, but this little slideshow of different things that we're talking about, I think that can make the live podcast a little bit cooler, having these things to just kind of not just be our face cam here. So hopefully we continue to do this. And obviously, if this was on a whim, this was a emergency podcast today with the blog, there was really no prep for this outside of, hey, when you get home tonight, let's get on and do a quick podcast here for a live and everything like that. So I would be very interested to see like what a live version of the podcast would look like if we had a half a week's prep time to get ready for this and really try to find some other goodies and some fun things to include here on the pod later on in the day. But yeah, guys, I love it. So again, shout out to everybody that was here, guys. We just crossed 1,000 total viewers on the stream. We held pretty much 70 plus people watching. I think we peaked out around 90, which is crazy for a podcast stream, in my opinion. Like I don't really know what I was expecting, but when I do like the live podcasts airing, I know they're usually in the morning, but we're sitting at like 30, 40, maybe 50 people, but this has been definitely a crazy live. Hopefully again, we continue to do stuff like this in the future. Shout out to everyone that was here, that is here right now. Schwid, Israel, Astro, Chad, my goat, Thunder, some random, Israel, Tack, Mace, Victor, Thunder again, Sniper, my man, Stanley the goat. Thought it was a legit video. I love it, dude. I love it, man. I appreciate the kind words. Editing bad, you guys as well. Slightly pre-recorded, ignoring community corner. Yeah, I was a little bit like, I don't know, I was trying to like not read chat at the beginning, but I just see chat on the side screen, so I'm constantly looking over. So as we do more lives in the future, maybe I don't either like look at chat at all or whatever. I don't know, like I just kind of felt like I was a little distracted at the beginning, and then I eased into it. But it's something new, like we've just been doing podcasting for years now. I've only been doing it for 2 months, so right when I'm getting into the flow of doing a normal podcast, switching over to this has been a little bit a little different of a live. But yeah, guys, it's been fun. I'm looking forward to next Thursday's release. I don't know if there'll be very much content moving into next week. I'm working on like a 400-hour project right now with Rapid. And it's taken up all of our time. We want to get it done as soon as we possibly can right after the last map. So we'll see if we got any more streams this week. After DLC 4, I want to start grinding some gobblegums for next year if they carry forward. So we'll do some grinding streams, maybe some open lobby grinding streams, have some fun with it. So they can get more gums and co-op, unconfirmed, but maybe. But yeah, again, we appreciate all the support, man. It's been an awesome journey so far, and hope to continue this into the future.
All right. There it is. Perkaholics Anonymous episode 10 in the books. MZC, appreciate you putting this together. And yeah, we'll be back with more. We'll be back with episode 11. Make sure you guys are staying hydrated out there. Still hot. Still very, very, very hot. At least where me and MZC are. Where we are. Very in the 90s, high 80s and 90s. So making sure you're staying hydrated. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.